Hello and welcome to Glitch Cube, we're a gaming podcast, and each week we take a deeper look into the art of video games. As always, I'm Christian.
I'm Chris.
And welcome back, everybody. It's spooky month, and that means that we are going to be celebrating all things ghoulish, scary, terrifying, and a little cute this episode, actually. So we're going to be looking at horror games a lot this month. We're going to be finding some games that are older classics to newer games to random itch.io finds, just kind of things that encompass the whole season itself. And, that means that it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be truly scary. Because that's not for everybody. Not everybody wants to have a full horror fright. But, what about that kind of like Tim Burton-y style cutesy horror, right? There's plenty of those games out there for everyone too. So we kind of have a very expansive list for today. We are all over the place. We have some really fun ones. We have some really quick ones for people. But I'm just excited about this because it was a blast looking for these things. And some of them are pretty weird and bizarre. And honestly, with the amount of titles that are coming out on itch.io now and how many games are just getting published in general, there is a wide variety of games to pick from. And I like the fact that we didn't go for some of the more, I guess, like, quote unquote, like expected games for the season right now, right? Like Poppy's Revenge or Five Nights at Freddy's style kind of games. We found some really interesting ones to bring to you guys. So pretty excited about this one. It's going to be good. But why don't well, you know what? Before we jump into video games, I'm actually curious. Have you watched any good horror movies this season just yet?
I watched that No One Can Save You.
Oh, that was such a good one. I was going to talk about that. Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised by it, actually. I feel like when I first saw what it was about, which luckily it wasn't really spoiled for me, so I didn't really know, but it was good. I was pleasantly surprised that it was able to keep my attention the whole time. When it was kind of unfolding, I was like, uh-oh, I feel like I might get lost. In a sense where it might get boring, but it's just it's not like one of those high anxiety movies that keeps you oh my God, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? But it's pretty close to that.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I really enjoyed it. I felt like it was a good start to my spooky month.
It had a lot of good pacing to it, right? It had its high moments, but then it had a lot of very calmer times where you feel like you could relax. But I felt it was really interesting the fact that there's no dialogue throughout the film. There's one or two lines, some noises, right? But for the most part, there's no real dialogue. So you're just kind of following this person through their whole thing. And for people that don't know, we're not going to spoil it completely. It's a home invasion movie. That's basically what it boils down to. Now, what kind of home invasion? That's very different than you'd expect. And luckily, you don't have to wait too long to figure out the weird twist behind it. It happens very quickly, which I really enjoyed about this film, was the fact that it doesn't hide anything from you. It just goes right into it, right? It was very quick to jump in. So the rest of the movie was just the aftermath of everything that was happening. So that was really, really interesting. I will say I didn't like the ending. I liked everything up into the ending. And my brain has chosen to omit that last part. Because everything else was actually oh my God, this is so cool. And then that happened. I went, oh, okay. Neat, I guess. But no, it's a very different type of artsy take on a horror film. And it was very bright, right? It wasn't very typical, I can't see what the hell is going on, I just hear noises kind of movie. So that was really nice to see. But there was some interesting designs in it. I really liked the hand gesture stuff that was going on there. It was a really cool movie. I will recommend that one completely. But yeah, it's good. All right, well, why don't we jump into some games real quick? All right, so the first one that I'm going to bring to you guys is a very quick one. You can beat it or play. I don't know if beating it is really the right way to put this, especially whenever it comes to some of these itch.io games or some of these cursed horror games that are on itch.io. There's no really beating it. It's just you can finish it or play through it in about 10 to 20 minutes. It's a very quick one. But for those of you that grew up with Tamagotchis, like that holds a very special place. And we did an episode on Tamagotchis and actually did a recast of that during our little break a few weeks ago. And it's one of our favorite episodes, actually. There's a lot of history behind the Tamagotchis themselves. But there is a game out there that is called Egg Friend. And it's basically just Tamagotchi all over again. It was great. The user interface was exactly the same. It has the 3 buttons, even like the casing around it. So the way the UI works, I love it. It looks like you're playing a real Tamagotchi, and it has like a small screen, and then there's like the shell around it with the buttons that you can press on there. And you go through, you check its hunger meter, its happiness meter. You can feed your little guy. You can play with him. You can play either hurdles or catch the melons. Catch the melons is basically a game where melons are falling from the sky, and you move left or right to grab them. And then hurdles is just like that browser game, right, for Google if you don't have internet and you can just jump over cactuses. It's exactly that. So it's a lot of fun just kind of going through this process. But what's interesting about this game is as your little guy starts to grow up, the game slowly starts to get altered, and then the music even changes behind it too. It's very classic Tamagotchi as you're starting, but then as you kind of evolve your little dude, the music gets a little bit more like messed up. It's to say it starts getting kind of like the music is warping or glitching out, which I thought was really interesting. And then even the games start changing too. So at some point, the melon game where it's just melons falling from the sky, they become eyes that are like blinking and kind of moving now too. So you kind of have to like move a little quicker to get them. The hurdle game eventually becomes giant spikes that you're jumping over, which is pretty fun. But then the big change, I will say, is the food. So as you're progressing through the game, the food that you're able to feed your little guy goes from being like a cheeseburger or a piece of chicken or a cake to like a finger or like just guts and things like that, right? So it becomes very like just kind of like horror inspired like kind of game. And then at first your little dude is like this cute little circle thing that is moving around the screen with a big old happy face. And then it turns into like this squid that is just kind of going around. And instead of like little poop on the screen, because you can clean up the poop too, it's like piles of bones that just start getting left behind. And you're like, okay, that's weird. Eventually the outside of the shell, like that you're supposed to be like theoretically holding onto, the Tamagotchi actual like game piece, it starts changing too, where it will look like a rib cage, right? Like it's alive, like it's kind of like it flashes to be something kind of gory, and then it comes back to what it was with just the regular shell. And then towards the end, the screen does go black, and then the shell becomes red, and the actual Tamagotchi that you've been playing on hatches, right? And then there you go, right? So it's very lighthearted. I mean, it's perfect for 90s nostalgia, but it is kind of like it's just a fun little experience to go through. And once again, it's not itch.io. You can find it real quick. Called Egg Friend. I spend like 10, 20 minutes on this thing. Super simple, but it's just a fun little like kind of creepy mess with you kind of game. So that was a good one to play through for sure. I liked it a lot.
This game actually looks really cool. I like itch.io has so many like games in general, but like I have been the past month or two I've been really like diving into a lot of their games on there because there's so many interesting ones, especially like that are free. You know, it's kind of like a donate if you like it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And this is really cool. Like it's so minimal, but it is interesting. Like all the stuff you were saying about it. Like I kind of want to check it out myself.
It's nice how true to the original Tamagotchis it was, right? Like the aesthetic, there's a lot of work put behind it. You can tell because the aesthetics match so well. That's what I really like about this one. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just like the the 2-bit Tamagotchi screen, they actually animated the full casing to give the full vibe that you were doing. That I liked a lot. So definitely worth checking out. And then just real quick, another fun cursed one that you can find out there is called Error Number 53. And it's the full title is Error Number 53 Warning Horror. This is a Unity game, and it's important to notify it's a Unity game because they use the Unity splash screen in an interesting way later on in the game. But it's another one of those really, really quick. It's said to be a game that was put out and published, but there was a error when it was uploaded, and now it is a cursed game. So they're saying that the glitches are an accident, but we know it's not, right? And so the premise of it is very, very simple. It's very cutesy graphics. Basically, you just have to go save the kingdom from the evil Jack, right? So you go and fight Jack, and then that's when things start getting weird. Things start glitching out, like buildings start losing texture. Even the terrain that you're around starts losing texture. The NPCs start walking into walls, or they're like laying down dead when they're supposed, but you can go talk to them because the animations are off. Like it's little things like that. And then at one point, the game resets itself, and it does, the typical Unity splash screen that we're so used to, but even that's glitched out, right? And it's just fun to play through this where it's like, okay, like, are these glitches intentional? Was this an accident? Were they actually trying to make a game and it kept getting all glitchy and then they just said, screw it, this is the game, right? Like, let's just put that out and just see what happens. But it's another fun little quick one for you guys to enjoy if you want to play another cursed game out there. Just short, I think you can play it also in like 10-15 minutes as well and experience it enough. But yeah, those little, I found that I was really enjoying these like quick little short, quote unquote, cursed games more than just trying to find something long to play through.
This is actually really cool. Like, I'm looking, when you first brought it up, I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, when I was trying to look for this game, I couldn't find it anywhere. And I finally found it, and I'm like, oh, the look of it's kind of cool. I like how, like, I guess it is kind of old, huh?
Yeah.
But it has that, like, something about the way it looks, it does seem like it might be kind of like, not freaky, but I feel like there is something about it that's just like off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's more like unsettling than anything else.
Yeah, the cell shaded characters for some reason keep throwing me off.
Yeah. And error 53 is a commonplace error in Windows. It actually just means the network path was not found. So what they're trying to say with this is like, right, like this game got published, but we don't know where from because you can't find where it came from, right? So it's one of those that it mysteriously made its way on the internet, but we do know who published it and who put it out. I mean, it's on their website, so there's that. But anyway, it's fun.
So for me, I've been kind of going back. Mine's kind of everywhere. Mine's more classics this week. And so, which one should I start with? Let's do, I'm going to do the first one, which I thought was kind of weird. But, so I was on a plane the other day, and I didn't want to bring my Switch because, handling a kid bouncing around next to you with a Switch is kind of awkward because it's big. You can't really put it back. So I brought my 3DS on the plane. 3DS is amazing because it can be thrown and it survives. But something people don't really know about is that there were horror games on the DS and 3DS that weren't the Resident Evil games. And I didn't know about this game until maybe a few years ago, and I remember seeing the cover of it somewhere, and I was like, what is this? Like, I thought it was like a point-and-click game, like one of those hidden object ones, but it's called Dementum, the Ward. And it starts out with you being shown this insane asylum that you're in, right? Or psychiatric ward. and some crazy event happens, and there's like mutants and like kind of like zombie creatures and other weird beings there. So you start out getting a flashlight and then getting a club. And mind you, the 3DS or the DS controls are not the greatest. This is a first-person game. I guess you could consider a first-person shooter because there is shooting in it. So imagine that on a DS. Basically, you move with the D-pad, you attack with the left trigger or left bumper, and your camera is basically the bottom, the touch screen. And it was killing my hand, I'll be honest. Like trying to hold that.
A lot to juggle.
It was really weird. And it frustrated me at times because like some of the enemies were kicking my ass only because like, oh, I didn't move my camera right in front of them where I was able to club them better. So there was that annoyance. But once I got a better weapon like a bone saw, the game got a lot easier. And there were like these flying creatures that were, oh God, it was even worse because of that reason. But it had some really cool ideas. And looking back, for a game on the DS like this, it did a lot of things like really well. It looked really good. Like I was trying to look at other DS games from that time, and I feel like this one had really good graphics compared to a lot of other stuff at the time.
Especially for what, 2007, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like I was really surprised by it. And, you know, I didn't really play a lot of the DS growing up. So for me, my like experience with that is kind of mixed. But this game did some interesting things too with regards to kind of trying to tell like an interesting story on this. And so I don't want to spoil too much because I feel like this would be a game that people might want to play at some point just because of curiosity.
Right.
Not that there's a major background story in this game, because the twist kind of happens early on that you kind of understand what's happening. But you are maneuvering through this hospital, right? And there's boss fights in this game. And yes, with the camera aiming, it's pretty awful. Thankfully, you get better guns like a shotgun and stuff, sniper rifles, so it does make it a lot easier. But guy with a freaking chain gun on a wheelchair is annoying as shit. But
chain gun in a wheelchair. Oh boy.
Yeah, the bosses in this game are very interesting. I think one of the weirdest one is like this like wall vagina monster.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The game gets weird in a lot of ways, but it's short. I think I beat it in about 2 hours. So it was a nice like airplane game, you know, like wasn't too difficult. The music, it did get repetitive, but it was surprisingly good. The atmosphere in this game is actually really well done. That's kind of, I think, what I was getting at was that not only the sound, but the look of the building, the way it's framed and set up, it really captured this feeling of being kind of like, oh God, I'm in this really weird place. You're hearing either footsteps walking around you, you're hearing voices come from another room. Like, it's surprisingly really well done. And I was using headphones, so it would sound a lot better than, you know, the DS speakers. But
come on. They were fantastic speakers. What are you talking about?
Oh, I know. I remember the old Game Boy having like a little speaker that was so powerful, like you could hear it everywhere. But,
and it would rattle your thing. So you could hear the whole thing rattling. It didn't need vibration. The music pack was that strong.
Yeah. Right. They had those little boombox attachments you can put on your GameCube too to make it even louder. Or if you had those like I remember having like this AM FM tuner for my old Game Boy.
God, they made so much weird shit.
Yeah, I'm like, who uses this? But then again, I'm like, oh, well, I owned one. So, I mean.
Or like the fact that you can take pictures and print with some of that stuff too.
Yo, like, those pictures are cool.
Like, yeah, it'd be fun to go to like a gallery and someone doing a whole show with just those kind of pictures. That'd be interesting.
Right? Oh, we should do that.
We should. But, I like that.
Yeah, this game's interesting. I mean, it was interesting enough to get a sequel. I haven't played the sequel, but, you know, overall,
are you based on how you played it? Are you captivated? Would you play it more of this?
I would say I'm intrigued. I heard some people say that the sequel is a little bit better because they fixed some of the controls. Okay. I heard if you played emulated, there is like a way to play it at 60 frames per second, which probably makes a good difference because I think it's locked 30 on the actual DS. But
gotcha.
Yeah,
Sorry, hang on. I'm watching gameplay of this as we're discussing it.
Yeah.
And I just saw the chain gun guy in the wheelchair, and he zips around so fucking fast.
Yeah, he does.
It's like he's in an RC powered car, but he's got a blanket on because he's cold, but no shirt. He looks like one of the guys from Borderlands, like the
dude. All the
enemies, mask. Like,
all the enemies in this game look like they're from Borderlands.
Yeah, he looks like a psycho from Borderlands with the Barrett chain gun attached to his arm, and he zips around like a freaking RC car around the corners.
Dude, that fight, you're like shooting him, right? And you can usually get 2 hits in him with the shotgun before he starts barreling off. And here I was like chasing right after him, shooting him. And I'm like, dude, how is this guy this fast?
Right.
Like, I don't get it.
That was just really goofy looking. That came out of nowhere.
Is this game like, would I recommend it to people? I wouldn't say go out of the way and try to buy it, because I know resale market's kind of expensive. Like,
yeah, that's true.
On eBay, it seems like I know the sequel's going for about $100. First
that's
one
crazy.
Probably is not far behind it because horror games are usually overpriced, but
well, they have much more limited like copies made too, right?
Yeah,
so that also does it.
Especially because this is like a game no one really talked about, and it wasn't a big publisher or anything, so they weren't probably a lot made. But it's interesting. I would say if anyone's a fan of like handheld horror games, I would say it's worth checking out. And I mean, it's short. It's 2 hours, right? It's goofy. It's janky. To me, would I think it'd be interesting to play at the time it came out? Probably not. But when you look at Itch.io and you look at a lot of the popular horror releases, a lot of them have that PlayStation 1 aesthetic. They have that, late 90s, early 2000s look to them, that blocky look, chunkiness. I feel like this game would kind of fit in with it because it is creepy. And I don't know. I think that the game was trying to do something interesting and maybe didn't have the biggest budget, so they couldn't like make it longer. But I also felt like the game was the perfect length. To me, it's a good, like maybe 6 out of 10 game. Maybe 7 because it's odd.
It feels like they were really trying to utilize the DS.
Yeah.
Because from what I can see, like as far as immersion, I like the fact. So can you write your own notes in this game?
Yes, you can actually.
See, that's really cool. I like that aspect of it because it makes you feel more like you're actually in this game and you can actually see your own handwritten notes in this of where you're going, what you need to do, right? Like that's pretty cool. I like that idea a lot. So that's clever.
Yeah, you have to write down like passwords and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Because I mean, we don't have manuals anymore to write passwords down like the old days. So
right. And now it's like if I read a note, I just have the password and they go and autofill it, right? But it's kind of cool to have to like flip through your notebook and see it.
Yeah, and it's nice because I mean I hate having to take photos. Like nowadays, I'll just pull my phone out, take a picture, and I'll be
Oh
like, "Oh,
yeah.
here we go." But even then, that it takes away from the immersion. So this, I don't know, they did it right. It makes me interested to see, like, I don't know if there's any other horror games on the DS.
That's a good question. It's Nintendo always does some weird stuff with what they put out, right? Like it feels like I mean, obviously they only market some of the bigger games, but towards the end of the cycle of something, they really start putting out some weird ones. I mean, we're starting to see it more on the Switch now too, where you're seeing a lot of graphic novel book kind of things, but like
That's seems like what's the other games are on the DS or graphic novel kind of stuff.
right. So it almost feels like it's a weird thing, but we have to remember that's been happening for all of Nintendo's life, right? Like they always end up putting out these kind of like trippy, weird games, but they're just on the back burner. So like it's not always a family friendly console that we kind of relate Nintendo to. So it's pretty cool. It's nice to see. I'm kind of curious about this. I might want to like get an emulator of this one and play it.
Oh, there's Spirit Camera. I forgot about that for the 3DS. It does like AR stuff
Oh,
because
that's
it's
right.
like
I
a
forgot
Fatal
about that one.
Frame
Hmm.
spinoff.
That one seemed really cool. I like that idea though.
Yeah, other than that, most horror on there is like visual novel stuff like 999 and Corpse Party kind of stuff.
Mm, right.
But continuing with the classics, a game that I've been wanting to play for a very long time. And I don't know why I never actually like fully played through it. I played the first game and I think I got creeped out by the second game. I finally finished Silent Hill 2
Nice.
and yeah, I see why people put it on a really high pedestal.
Hmm.
It really is good. I played the enhanced edition on the PC. It's supposedly the best way to play it, and it really does feel like it because they kind of modernized the controls with
Hmm.
this mod.
No more
So
tank controls, or not as bad tank controls.
yeah, like the camera is not fully like controllable, but the way you control it makes it feel like it,
Okay.
and it made the game a lot more interesting because it made it look better, obviously,
Hmm.
and there were some things that it kind of restored, and that game was just so damn good. Like the atmosphere was phenomenal, like Pyramid Head being creepy as ever, and really, I'm glad I played it now as an adult because I feel like I can actually really enjoy or understand what's happening. I
Mm.
feel like if I would have played it at the age that it came out, I probably wouldn't have understood all the undertones in that game. And
Mm.
after beating it, it was interesting kind of going into like deep dives of lore with it. And for the most part, I was able to understand most of that without those videos, but they definitely did kind of clarify things. And I'm excited to play 3 and 4. I think 4 was the only other one that I actually kind of played quite a bit of. But even then,
Hmm.
I think that one scared me the most just because creepy things happening in your apartment freaks me out way more than a haunted town.
Yeah.
Right?
There's
Like,
something about it being inside your own home.
yeah, like if there's one thing you want to get me scared is watching like home invasion stuff. Like, where it's like, there's those videos online of like, here's a Ring camera, or we have cameras in our house, or one of those like baby monitors. And you see an image of someone walking through the house that like broke in. Like that kind of shit freaks me out, you know?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, so anything that kind of like deters on that, scary. But Silent Hill 2 with this enhanced edition, I mean, like if anyone has ever wanted to play that game and has a computer, I would say that's what you should play. Like
Hmm.
it's phenomenal. And I'm glad to finally play it. I know I did that poll about Silent Hill, like playing all of them this year.
Right.
And I think I will actually get to it, because I was hoping there was enhanced editions for 3 and 4, but supposedly they came out looking good enough, playing good enough, so
they just left them alone.
Yeah, people are still working on enhanced for 3, but apparently it doesn't really need too much. So
okay.
I might get started on that. But
how long is it to beat the 3 and 4? I'm curious.
I don't think that long. I feel like Silent Hill 2 took me 8 hours.
Okay.
And I think they're all about the same length. So they're probably all around 8 to 10. There's multiple endings, but you know what? I got a lot going on in life. I'll just YouTube the other endings.
Yeah. I feel the same way.
I hate to do that, but I don't really want to replay through a game when there's so many other games I want to play.
Right.
But yeah, I think I'll jump onto one of those next.
Maybe we'll do an episode maybe in a couple weeks. Let's do this, and we're putting a little teaser out there for everybody. Let's play through Silent Hill 3 and do a full episode on that. Let's do it.
Yeah, from what I've heard of it, I mean, we could easily just do a whole episode on that one. So
yeah, and apparently it's only 6 to 11 hours. It's not that bad.
Oh, easy.
Yeah, let's do it. There you go, everyone. Teaser out there. I know specifically my sister will be super stoked for a full Silent Hill episode, so let's do it. She was really excited whenever you put that poll out, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Hell yeah. All right, so another fun little one that I was playing a lot of recently. I was trying to find something, and I remember seeing this game a while ago, and I was looking at the developer, and I was just obsessed with the artwork. But it's made by Taco Boy Studios. It got released in 2018, but this is a phone game, right? Oh, phone game horror. Oh,
what are you doing?
I know. I'm going to the dark side, but. Trust me, this game is when you want cutesy horror or cutesy scary kind of game, this is really, really fun, especially on the phone. But it's called Candies'n Curses. It's a very simplistic kind of gameplay style. You have multiple tiers. There's about 4 different paths that you can walk across. Your character will either automatically walk to the left or the right, depending on which way they're facing. And then you swipe up or down to move from tier to tier. Right. And there's ghosts and little creatures that are spawning throughout each tier. And you have to hit them with your flashlight in order to destroy them. And you just got to make it through this haunted mansion. The intro to this game I loved. It was this little girl. I think her name's Millie. And she is there at a party with her friends. And they are playing Truth or Dare. And someone dares her to spend the night in the haunted mansion down the street. And her being a brave soul decides, I will do it. So she goes to go spend the night at the haunted mansion, and that's where this whole game takes place. Now, what's really cool about it is as you level up, you can pick up different charms. It's very much like a roguelike, right? You're playing through the same levels. You fight through the bosses to try and make it through the end. But you level up your flashlight. You get different abilities. You get boons and bounties in the forms of candies and curses. And they can either help you or hinder you. And there's a bunch of really cool stuff in this. I really love the art style for this game. It's freaking adorable. It's pixel art, but it's done very, very, very well. The boss fights are actually interesting. They're what's nice is whenever you start progressing through your run, you start learning the patterns of the bosses to try and get through them better and faster. So it was really cool to try and play through that and figure it out. But this is a really, really fun game. And, now it's 5 years old now, but it feels and looks very polished still to this day. And I would definitely recommend it, especially for people who don't have time to sit down and play a game on a console or PC and they want something for the spooky season. This is definitely one to check out. It's very simple. It's free on the iPhone. Of course, there's in-game purchases. You can buy things to level up your stuff faster, but not necessary. It's just a fun little title to play through. And yeah, I would definitely recommend this one. I love the aesthetic of this so much. And I like want to remake this game now for the kids, and maybe set it up for spooky season next year. That'd be a lot of fun because it's a cool idea.
It looks really cute.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now.
I think
I don't know
really
why,
like
but
it.
I expected something really different from it, but I really like it.
Right? It's super, super cute, but it's great. I don't know. Like the amount of polish that they did for the artwork is amazing. And the variety of the Candies'n Curses and flashlights and things that you can get are really, really well done. I like it a lot. I will say your hitbox is a little bit bigger than it probably should be, and you can get hit pretty easily, but it's a phone game, right? Like you just you're not expecting anything like crazy big, so.
Yeah, you can't really expect perfection like that.
No, but definitely a lot of fun. I would highly, highly recommend this one for sure. I don't know. It's just so much. It's so adorable. Yeah, it's kind of hard not to like it.
Speaking of a phone game, so I mean, well, this wasn't originally a phone game, but the sequel came out, and was, I think, Netflix exclusive, or no, I think it came out on PC as well during launch. But the sequel did that, where basically you played on your phone, and I played the original. No one knows what I'm talking about. Probably not, because no one even looks at Netflix for games. But I played the first Oxenfree, and I've seen people throughout the years praise this game. And I don't know why, but for the longest time, whenever I would hear this game, I always thought they were just talking about Limbo or Inside.
Right.
So I was like, oh, what's Oxenfree? Like, people are like, oh, the dialogue trees are really great. So I decided to check it out, and I was pleasantly surprised by it. I know it's not really a horror game, more of a thriller. It does have some creepy moments to it, but this game was cool. I'm not bummed at myself for waiting so long to play this, but I really liked the fast-paced dialogue and how things actually kind of changed the story based on it, because you think about like Fallout and other or Starfield, where it's like you can just sit there, think about your choices, or pause the game and look online and be like, oh, what's the best choice for this situation? Right. But this, it was so fast that it's like, oh no, you have to be like having an actual conversation. And it was cool. It made me more immersed in the game. Which these kind of games, a lot of times, it's hard to keep my attention, right? And the story was cool. It was interesting. I liked the idea behind it, and honestly, it hooked me enough where I want to see what's in the sequel. I think that I would love to see more games have dialogue like this, where it's just super quick. Where the thought bubbles are your buttons. And yeah, I'm glad I played it. I've been trying to knock off a lot of more well-known indie titles off my list that I somehow just never gotten around to. And this was one of them. I love how this episode for me has just basically become like what games you've been playing, because these are all basically the games I've been playing.
Right.
But
well, it's the season, so yeah.
Exactly. Being on my trip, I wasn't really able to play games a whole lot aside from Dementum. So it's nice when these little bite-sized games are there to kind of pass the time,
Right.
And then
I do like the fact that a lot of these horror games or spooky games or thriller-ish games, they're very artistically pleasing, and they're shorter, which is nice. Right. It's a good little break. And I guess I felt I didn't realize I needed a little bit of a break. I mean, I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3 nonstop. So these little bite-sized ones have been great, where like, especially those like itch.io ones where it's 20 minutes of a different type of experience and I experienced all of it. Whereas with Baldur's Gate, I'm over 50 hours in and I'm like, there's still so much more to do. but loving every minute of it, of course, right? But it is nice to have some of these smaller titles that just tell a very complete story, right? And it's nice to see.
Yeah, it was nice to check it out finally, and I think this is the last one for me.
Okay.
So I am really excited for Alan Wake 2 that's coming out this year, this month actually, and
Nice.
hearing about a lot of the tech that's gone into it and how they're able to incorporate live action, full motion stuff into the 3D side of things sounds amazing, right? Like being able to walk with an FMV in first person
It's pretty
sounds
amazing.
insane.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, well, maybe I should play the first game so I'll just know what I'm expecting when I play it. Mm-hmm. And I played this game back in the day, and for some reason, it just didn't click with me. I think it was the controls or something with it. I hated having to shine a flashlight on an enemy to make them vulnerable and then shoot them.
Yeah.
But I figured, you know what? There's the remastered version. Why not try it? The story in it's cool. I'll put it that way. It feels a lot like Twin Peaks in a sense where, it's like, is this reality really real? What's going on?
Small town, weird people, right?
Yeah, like the vibe of it was great. I really liked that. The combat, I feel like most people complain about the combat in the game, so it's nothing new. But
I just don't know why you can't duct tape a flashlight to your gun or something. If you know that's the main thing, why not give us just duct tape?
Or just get a headlamp,
something.
Like do something where it just stays on you. But the feeling of the game, playing it right before actually going up to the Pacific Northwest, actually got me excited to be up there because it does kind of capture that feel now that I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool. The audio mixing is god awful in it. I will put it that way. There were times where I had to turn up the volume like really high to hear anything, and then the next second it's like screeching loud.
Oh god,
and
one of those.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't fix that with the remaster, but it was surprisingly enjoyable. I'll put it that way. Like, it wasn't a game that blew me away. I feel like a lot of people have talked about this game over the years, and I never really paid attention if people actually liked it or if it was a game that most people just like played through and that was it. And after finishing it, I could really see it being the playing through and kind of forgetting about it, because there's, in a lot of ways, it feels like it's not doing anything mind-blowing, but at the same time, the story, especially when you see it through, it is really interesting. And knowing that there's a sequel, it really put the ending in perspective and a lot of the stuff leading up to it.
Right.
And do I think that playing the first game is probably necessary for the sequel? I'm pretty sure you'd be able to get the most out of it, or at least a YouTube video. I think that would be
there's so many videos of like story explained and things like that. Yeah.
Especially for that game. I know there's a good one out there that really explains not only that, but the connections of a lot of those other Remedy games, because Control is connected to it. I mean, there is an Alan Wake DLC for Control that was actually really enjoyable. And that's kind of the thing I like, is that a lot of games made by Remedy, they're all connected, right? Quantum Leap isn't, though some people have said there's some kind of connections to it, but I like that they try to bring some kind of link in their games with each other. And the idea in Alan Wake 2 that they're talking about, where he's trapped in this like room with a typewriter and there's an FBI agent kind of in the town where he was, it just sounds interesting, where you have to like kind of jump between back and forth the two different characters. seeing the story play out in different views, but it's not like you're missing the story if you focus just on one character.
Right.
And do I think that playing the first game is worth it in this day and age? Honestly, I would say maybe just watch like a synopsis on it.
Mm-hmm.
There's times where it did feel kind of rough. It's not that hard of a game. I mean, maybe if you play on Nightmare, it's hard, but it's not super difficult. There's just something about it though, where it's like the amount of combat that happens kind of took me out of the immersion of it, which sucks because there were times where I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like we're getting to this area, and then out of nowhere, these shadow beings pop out. And I'm just like, really? Like,
why? Right? Like,
I have to kill another 3 of you, run a little bit, and then another 3 pops up. And I'm just like, they could have cut those encounters down by half.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the game would have been a lot more enjoyable. I mean, personally, for me, I think this would have been a game that would have been better if it had less combat in general, or not totally do away with it, but really limit it where it felt more meaningful.
Right.
I get that the attack of these like beings is kind of important to the story, but it just really took me out of it. But I'm hoping the sequel kind of changes that. I heard it's going to be more of a psychological horror versus a like psychological thriller. But
that does sound better already. So
yeah, I'm excited for it. And I mean, there's so many good games coming out this month, but I think that's the one that I'm like kind of focusing on aside from like Mario Wonder. But there's so many games I'm playing catch up on too. Like not only a bunch of horror games I have written down that I want to play, but there's Baldur's Gate 3, there's Armored Core 6, like there's a lot of stuff I want to go back to that I'm just like, oh my God, like this year is just stacked. And I'm one of those people where it's like, oh, if I see a good game, I'm just gonna, install it, or I'm gonna write it down and be like, oh, I'm gonna check this out. And it's like, it's impossible to keep up with this stuff. But
and the games are getting longer and longer, bigger and bigger. Like
yeah, and then you look at like Itch.io and you see like 100 new games that come out, and like 50 of them look really interesting, like they're made for you, and you're like, oh no, like what do I do?
Yeah, right.
But yeah, that's my extent of games so far.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good place to leave it off. Might as well, right? Like, because we're going to continue on with Spooky Month, and we're going to keep playing more games, check them out, and see what else is out there for you guys. And who knows, maybe you'll find your next favorite spooky horror game that you come back to and revisit, or it becomes a cult classic for you, right? Because there's plenty of them out there, and we've shown that there's a lot of different variety. We have some of these bigger games like Alan Wake. We have these smaller games on Itch.io like Egg Friend. Or if you're just a mobile guy and you don't have a lot of time, well, try out, Candies'n Curses. It's a great title. I love it a lot. I actually want to keep playing that one, even past Halloween. Why not? But anyway, we'll talk to you guys next week with some more spooky games as we continue Spooky Month. And then be on the lookout, because who knows, maybe we'll have a full episode on just Silent Hill. But you'll have to, tune in to figure that one out. But anyway, we'll talk to you guys next week. Have fun and stay safe out there. But until then, bye for now.